The story of Yosef and his brothers, I came to the conclusion, first of all, we have no understanding of anything. Thank you. Torah anytime, Kabashkacha Pratius, Kala Lashon, Yosef Yafi. Now, after the story of Yosef and his brothers, first of all, we have no musig in 10 zillion years what really happened. Just forget it. But the Eibush is talking to us. The Heilige Torah has such a story for us. Year after year we go through it. What do you walk away with from such a mice? Now, there is, first thing, what I walk away with is, I am going to make this official for all my friends, for myself, mainly for myself to know. This is clear. I am not perfect, and that's the matzav, and there's no way out of that. I'm weit from perfect. I'm going to be making mistakes and mistakes throughout my life every single day and every single minute. And who cares? You're going to be better than Yaakov Avinu. Of course, we don't have a musig of what went on there. Yaakov was you can't even begin to talk about any of them. But there's something there for us to learn from. You're allowed to make mistakes. I heard such a shmoosh from Matisyo. There was somebody had something, they sent a child to a certain maisid, and an accident happened. That was the end of Shem Yerachim. They were Bali Tshuva. And he spoke, it was before he was Mashkiach and Mlikuod. And he spoke in showing to be Matthias them, and he said, take a look at the whole story, it's mistakes. Yaakov's mistakes, Yeshvot's mistake, Yosef's mistake. Every inch. Beautiful shmooze, Ramatis Yos, Amar Fu Shalem. Now, the mistakes that's the Metzias. I am one shtick mistake. So is everyone else. Stop being down the Kav's chus. Now listen to me, Rabbi say, don't look for trouble. Don't you dare. I believe, I say sometimes struggler is a better, don't look to be a struggler, not an inch. Don't concede a mashu, don't struggle nothing. You're doing good up there, stay there. But if you are struggling, and whatever it may be, it's bachlal, it's a person could do the worst aveira. It is such a mistake to sit on that. It is a mistake of the universe. Don't touch it. Don't even think for a second. First, I guarantee you that the Yetzer Hara is blowing up your sin big time. But nothing. Do you blow up your mitzvahs? You don't even see things straight. You can't do that. A mistake. An aveira and a mistake is part of life. It's impossible not. Now, one of the great milas, now watch out what I'm saying, now be very, very careful. One of the terrific milas of aveiras and mistakes are, you'll stop looking down at other people. Look what you can do. That saves me. How good, how beneficial it is when you're all messed up. What a bracha that is. For that alone, that you are done others a kaf sechus, because you're not much better. It's such a bracha to look favorably at other people. Thanks to your aveiris, now you look at them differently. You don't look down at people ever. Never. Unless they're scaring you. Or you can't turning them into gods. You don't make a god out of a human. We all do it. Mach nicht a Gott von a Mensch. Don't turn this guy into a god. He's not. But the doctor, the this, the that, the Rosh Yeshiva, the Gvir. Leave a bug off. You should know. People make gods out of little kids too. Everybody's a god. Little kids, they like them, they don't like them. It's like the Welt Ketzachiba. And there's nothing wrong with being a big mess. I want to make that official. There's nothing wrong with being a big mess. Do you know how many people walk around their entire lives with not so subtle and sometimes subtle feelings that that's exactly what they are? They're all over the place. The average person, one of the famous Rosh Yeshivas, a world famous Adam Godel Ma'od, I overheard him saying, in his later years, I'm a ganzen out of it. I overheard him say it. People are human. They're always feeling like they didn't make it. This man was humongous from the Gedolei Yisrael Mamish. I overheard him say it. But people are human. They're always going to put themselves down. Now, a person like him didn't hurt. But people like us can't do that stuff. You have to go to war because you'll never blossom the way you could. You're so orangutan in your mistakes and this and that. You have to watch out from that. Now, I'm going to tell you a story. If I told it, stop me. I don't want to repeat it. It might be good to repeat it. And I'll tell you why it might be good to repeat it. Do you know that I get a compliment every day from Bob? Bob is the guy, the security guy in YTT. He's a shegitz. And every day I walk in, Bob says something. I don't want to go into it. But for me, it's plenty good. And every day Bob says it, it feels good. I like to hear it. And I told myself, now I have to start writing I like to stick to my shitas. My Musa say I didn't open a Musa Sefer, which is not lechatchila. I'll probably later will open one up. I was just busy writing. What I consider Hanukkah, you sit down and write down all the things you got to thank Hashem for. An hour. Close that Gemara. Did anybody hear that? Stop being such a Baal Chesed. Stop being such a tzaddik. Sit down for a full hour. Yes, sweat it out. If you can live through it, Nebuch, to write one, Rabbi Mendel, if you would have said 10 minutes, you had a chance they'd listen to you. You say an hour. Uh-oh, this man don't understand us. If you feel like that, make it 10 minutes. But make it 10 minutes. Anyway, ideally. But sit down and now you know the war you're fighting. The Mashgiach of Lake was that he said, Chanukah is a time for Milchama. If people who don't go to war are sad people. Did you hear that? People who don't have an inspiration. Like I told I once had, this woman was, the Rebbitzin. She was sick with Yanamaisis. I got a minion together. We stormed the heavens right afterwards. She was better. Because, the Rebbitzin's not feeling good. I went Meshuggah. And it's good to get Meshuggah. The raya that he gives, the Mashkiach Zatzal, Reb Nosson, is that she goes ahead, the sister of the Chashmonaim, and she's under the chuppah, and the Hegmain's coming after her. Shem Yerach. I can't be massing what they went through. The Hegmain comes over, and he runs it. You know, why don't we sit down and thank Hashem we don't have that stuff? For that alone, you know what Yidden went through? If your husband came home every night, you were dancing. There's a book put out by what was her name? Gretel from Hamlin. What was her name? Gretel? Gretel from Hamlin. A Yiddische Frau, a holy Jewish woman. She lived 500 years ago, 300 years ago. She gave a zug. She wrote a diary. She said, if your husband comes home in one piece every night, you bench Goimel. Because on the way home, you know what Goim used to do? Gehenna people went through the diary, Eden went through. We don't have that today. Why are we dancing? Anyway, but glickle, whatever. So the thing is this. What was I saying? What a glick. You have to thank Hashem for every little inch. Who? Oh, Bob, yes, it makes me happy. Bob makes me happy. And I chazer, Bob the chazara. And the chazara gets on your nerves. I told you what happened when my Adam came to visit me, and he's there for Shabbos with my daughter, all the Einiklach, and I start raving over my wife, and the next day, on Shabbos morning meal, I say the same shtick Torah, how great the cholent is, and they say, hey, we heard that last night. I says, chazara! You never hear chazara? You got a chazer, you know how many times you're chazering negative stuff? You know how many times you chazer and you chazer and you chazer negative stuff in the Vardik? They should say shmoozing. That's coming out of years. Oh, we heard that already. The Beshita repeated it. Yeah, let's hear it again. You know how many times you hear the garbage can? That, oh, you know what's going to happen? I just got off the phone. I want them to give me a bracha. Because they're looking up to me as the Baal Meifas Hadar. And I seriously want to get a refuah shalema for this person. But Miuchad, I want this person out of the woods. In 2 days there's an operation, a serious operation. I had a big meifus in the same area just last week. Within a few days there was a total turnaround. I guaranteed it. And this time I'm also guaranteeing. When my covenant is at stake, this is a later stage, but that doesn't get me nervous. Don't make me nervous. Here, we're geyser, refuah shalema. That's it. And Shebetוכhem, that works. It's all Amuna. You're working Amuna. Anyway, so you got a chazer. So I'm going to chazer something that I think is priceless. If you've heard it before, so we'll chazer it. It's priceless. This happened to me last week. I come home, I had a horrible day. Oh, you heard it? You didn't hear it? You heard it? Horrible day. I really did. Very unusual. I wouldn't even say it if it was true. I would ask my wife if she ever hears that from me. But this was, okay, I'll tell you straight. The class was not up to par. We couldn't learn. I was making myself a sugar, and they weren't learning good. There's nothing. Wasted, terrible. I went over the same material. It goes into one ear, goes out the same ear. No one's learning. I says, what do I do wrong now? And watch yourself. Your Torah tells you, because you're not roy. Don't touch that stuff. Ever! You're not roy. Well, because that's for that Aveira. So Memele, it's not working. Don't touch it. It's not for us. Go send it special delivery to the Arabs. Keep away from that garbage can. Keep away. It's poison. It's going to kill you. You'll spend your whole life. That's for that Aveira. This is for this Aveira. I don't sin. But. I'm done myself. L'kapschus. The rest of us say you're constantly down l'kapschus. That's an ongoing thing. Do that with others too. You got to always do it, because just because you did it yesterday, today you got new stuff against you. So, no. Kapschus. What? Kapschus. I'm innocent. You gotta say, you don't know how important that is. And it's hard work. The HR doesn't like that. You spend a full day every day, no, this is nothing. I'm really a tzaddik. No. Another guy in my shoes would be worse. No. Anyway. There's a lot of ways out of the, you're fine. Okay, you hear that? There are people out there that talk very different than me. I have a tape of one of them. Fire and brimstone. Don't spoil these guys. Put them in that place. You'll straighten them out. Now, he does a lot. That's why fellow I'm thinking about. And maybe you want to listen to him. Go ahead. I don't talk that language. It's not me. There's a time for it, by the way, but I'm not here for that stuff. Sometimes it comes to use. Oh boy, it comes to you. Sometimes you do need a good zetz. And it could do wonders for you. Better than all the sweet talk in the world. Once in a while, you need a good whack. No, I got the message. Rav Rosenberg, he was the first manal in Lakewood Chayda. From the first, he told me that he was a kid in RGJ, Yeshiva Rabbi Akiva Yosef, that's way back, the first yeshiva in all America. And he was a mechutzev. It was in the hallway, the Malamdim was schmoozing with each other, and he opened up a big mouth, and he was a Lebedik, he was okay, you know, and he said something, and to one Malamed, and the other Malamed heard, but in those days, this stuff was legal. And not legal, it was recommended. Shlomo Melech says you're supposed to do it. He went over to Reb Moshe Rosemary, he gave him a whack. He sent him flying across the hall. He says, he told this to me. He says, I thank that Rebbe till today. He taught me Derech Eretz. That's great. So sometimes it comes in handy. He says, but then nowadays, okay, maybe someday we'll be talking a little more tough. But right now, let's hold. Let's put it on hold. But what was I saying? Where am I up to? So the horrible day. How do I come to a horrible day? And the kids, then my chavrusa, I was embarrassed how things weren't working. I have a good seder with somebody, and he made a remark. Everything okay? Oh, yes. No. And then the next chavrusa, same thing. What's with me? It's over. I mean, what's going on here? Chavrusas are reading them. Achron Chov, Tachel Weekly, nobody liked my shtickle. Nobody called this, had all different, I call it Rabbonim and Rosh Hashivas, I call it, this one's,
That's what they call you.
That's what I'm calling. You're the sweetest guy in the world, you're going to say it's good. So the thing is this. So, what did I do? I says, okay. Hours I spent, it's frustrating. So I'm harving and nothing. So I say, sei mir gesund. I took the whole situation and I picked it up and I threw it 10,000 miles away. I'm not interested in being a good Malamed. Who cares? Kids aren't learning? That's fine. Oh, you're not learning anything? So? Chavrusa doesn't like it? So? B'tachon Weekly? Who needs B'tachon Weekly? Who needs that garbage? I don't need B'tachon Weeklies. I don't need nothing. That's called B'tachon, by the way. That's B'tachon. I open up a shar B'tachon and I laugh at the world. And I say, who cares? I have Rabbeinu Shalom. You're all Hashem Roi Loi Echsa. I am not missing nothing. I don't need this. I don't need that. So you don't like me, so I'm no good. I'm doing well. I'm not. Who cares? Go hang yourself. I'm doing fine. I love it. Doing zero. I love being an official zero. Doing officially zero. That's my mode. That's Avodas Hazman. It's a joke. It's Mamish Avodas Hazman. And what did I do? Wait a minute. Next comes the pickle. Can I have that pickle, please? Yeah, I eat pickles. As pickle. I told you I was at a chasana. I didn't eat because I ate my wife stuffed me up enough, so I come to the chasana. By the way, if anyone could take me at 9 o'clock, you got to go to a chasana at the Fountain Ballroom. You take me? It's a deal. So, I always get the best balagolas. So what do I do? You'll be on the chair with me. What? That's l'chatchila. I'll take off mine too. For the occasional. By the way, this chassan's one of our chevra. If I put on the tie, we're going to have trouble. He's one of us. Anyway. So what was I saying? So I'm going, pickle. So I was at this chasana, and so I ate nothing, but a pickle, that. So I took a pickle, I took one bite. Made a bracha, I took a bite. I started schmoozing. Came back, another bite. And I still had a little bite. And I walked away, some other guy schmoozing more. What's going on? I said, oh, Jan Schuldig, halt mitten pickle. I'm holding the middle of the pickle. Let me just finish my pickle first. So you gotta finish. Anyway, that's what I did. I promise you, everybody said. I ate pickles, or whatever you got. Your wife's a good cook. Get some pretzels, get some potato chips. That goes with B'tachon, by the way. You mean you don't care? Leave me alone. Now, as soon as I did this, and Mamish didn't care. I want to be a happy person. I'm interested in succeeding, in making it, and the Vardig let you have it on that. They understood. When people progress, the Yetzirah comes along. When they finish Shas, he comes along, got to do it. And sometimes they make you sick on the way, or you make you yell nervous at your wife because you got to finish the sugya, whatever. Yetzirah isn't sleeping. So with all your Bטחון weekly hard work and the hard-working guy, and I'm busy on the phone, this and everything. No, I'm not one of those. I'm easygoing. I once said, Ben Azman, I try to keep out of trouble. So I'm working all year round. In the summertime, for 4 weeks, I have a job. And another camp. Now, after my school, I did that summer camp. Also, then another summer camp. And I remember one year, there was 1 week that there was, the Cheder opened up, the kids, the parents were going for that week. So I got a job there too. So I had 3 jobs in 1 year. So then there was 1 week that I did nothing. That week was Gehenna. So I said, I'm looking for a job desperately. And I got one. I became the official Stutz Ledergeher. I mean, the official guy who does nothing. So somebody says, I know a lot of people who do that. He says, yeah, but by me it's official. I'm an official, do nothing. Anyway, I like the idea of, so don't do something. So it's going to kill you if you sit back for a minute. So don't do anything. Who cares? You got to see the slow pace of Novandigas, the way they did things. My uncle Manes, my father, the way they did Mandels, they're different there, the way they talk. They had all the time in the world. They were just as busy as we were. But somehow, they did it. They were chilled. They Abished. Anyway, so that, right after I did that, I says, okay, I feel somewhat better. My mind's not cluttered up already with all the pressure. I make one more phone call to one of the senior alumni in Gans Lakewood. He was the second best bacher in Baltimore 40 years ago already. I hold him to be one of my Yida Tzaddik. He knows everything also, and he'll tell me if it's no good. I'm joking. Anyway, so I got on the phone with him, and boom, he liked it, and he's, in my books, he knows. And right afterwards, I started writing, and I started moving. Come inside, Rabbi Isai. The more covered, the better. I love this. You know, all the chashuva people come to me. So, and Jack is waiting for you. Gentleman Jack, it's a new twist. And all the the 2 goosies are here. We have Stolish Naya, we have 2 types of caramels, we have varieties, the spice of life. It's Hanukkah, Rabbi Isai. Do you eat latkes? I don't want to talk to you. You didn't eat latkes? Come on. Savganiot, at least that. You should know, for every bite of latkes, you're going to get Ilam Haba. I promise you, I mean it. I'm not kidding. For every bite of latkes, you're going to get Ilam Haba. Eat latkes. That's avodas hazman. In my Olam, that's what we do. You can do what you want. My chevra, that's our Hanukkah. Eat latkes and enjoy with a pickle. Anyway, so as soon as I chilled out, things started moving. And right here, I opened up a safe outside. The next day, the classes are breezed. Just like it was bad yesterday, it was great today. A chavrusis, it was phenomenal. And Bטחון weekly is moving. Everything went like a fiddle. How did that happen? When you take a break. Bitula zuhi kiyuma. In Kelm, they went to sleep a half hour every day. The half hour is Kodesh Kodashim. Bein Asdarm, you go to sleep, Bubby. You don't do that? It's bittul sleep. It's bittul bitula zui kiyuma. If you tell you the Chavetz Chaim was makbid on going to sleep on time, stamazai. If you know how to get a second wind, all right, whatever. I get my second wind by Shar B'Tachon. Listen to this. Reb Gershon Lieberman told me that the power of Musa. Okay, I'm going to reveal something to you. I'm not such a big. I'm telling you straight. I don't like to put myself down, but I'm going to throw myself up. So I'm just not that, but I take no nap during the day. Period. Ever. I'm not into that. Who's what? Who's that? My ADHD doesn't allow. It's part of the system. I have to live up to the image they once gave me. I'm joking. ADHD means you're supposed to be nervous. It's not a joke, that stuff. The day someone told me you're one of those, so from that day on, I started, whatever symptoms I had before skyrocketed. But once all you need is a stempel. I told someone, never, someone has yet a machle, call me up. I said, you know where the whole machla is coming from? The doctor's look and the concern. That's the machla. The machla is so big. If you can get that person to leave me alone, chill out, watch it disappear. Just happened last week. I got a phone call. The guy says my wife has all the symptoms and blood and the this and the that, and she's a bundle of nerves. I said, tell your wife, Loihoyu dvarim me'olam. Less than a week, he calls back. Mendel is a chsidische. B'skevein gerecht. Loihoyu dvarim me'olam. And I pearled it with my words. Because I really, come on, Bogoff. I make myself have bטחון. I make believe, and after a while, boom, that's it. And I scream. You know, Rabbi Putnam said, when wrong, scream loudest. The other way. That's when you got to really scream. Oh, just the opposite. I have a lot of stories with that stuff. I scream, Ador Rabba. I once had a depressed kid to deal with, and I screamed, Eibishter, he's great. The next day I get a report. The Rebbe says he's a great kid, and he was so happy, never looked so happy. Anyway, you don't know the power of words. Of your opinion. I hold the Hanukkah of Hanukkah. Say it now. So far, it's working great. Let's avoid the Sazman. Give value to what you're doing. To your tightness. I hold my Hanukkah was great. That's the Yetzer doesn't like that. And that's where you're going to do it. No matter what I did, I hold my Hanukkah is going to bring Nisan Pagans Klal Yisrael. Say it every day, every minute. Again, no me, not the guy next to me. I'm special. My Hanukkah is Noida. What the Eibishter made me. That was the best thing that ever happened to the universe. The day the Eibishter made me. Say it. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about Gaius. The Eibishter loves that. Me, not the guy next to me, but I'm this, but I'm that, but you're great. And the more, you know what I recommend? There's a Ksav Sofer, that's a bomb. Someone showed it to me this morning. I says, this is for me, he's mine. Ksav Sofer, he says beautiful stuff. He says that Yosef was the Ish Matzliach. You know why it was the Ish Matzliach? Says the Ksav Sofer. Because everything that went wrong, he said, that's l'taiva. Every mashu, no, that's l'taiva. He created hatzlach. No, I'm being matzliach. No, I got thrown into jail. I'm being matzliach. Every move that happened to him, no. This is hatzlach. It's ben Hashemayim. It's all l'taiva. That's why Hashem Himai, he went flying wherever. There was no bigger success in the universe than Yosef HaTzadik. Because he said, on every inch, everything's l'taiva. No, Dan, it's really good. You do that, you'll be just. He was a melech for 80 years. Nobody in Mikra was a melech for 80 years. He saved the life of the world. It's very volume what he was. Because every inch, Eibishter. Every inch. And every inch, he saw only good. Anyway, so make yourself a mutzlach. You paskin, I'm a mutzlach. No, it's l'taiva. So that's every little mashu that goes wrong. Sit down. Give yourself a minute and make a big. Now, here comes. Why in the world did I have a bad day? I never, ever have bad days. Ask my wife. Never. You ask my wife if I ever have a bad day. You ask her. Now I got to tell you something. It's Kedai to hit us. Kedai to hit us. When I first got married, and I was younger, and I wasn't white yet, when did I have a good day? It wasn't simple. I had to sit on this, bטחון. The Eibush himself saved my life. Sit with the boss. You can become anything. You can do anything. You don't know what you have. Hanukkah. Ask for nisim. It's in the nusach. Here, you want to hear the nusach? What you say? L'shem yichud kudsha b'richu. Hareinu neflois. Ubeschus matas yo kain gadol banam. Hareinu neflois. We want nisim. Did you hear that? We're asking for nisim. It's part of the nusach. Give us nisim. And there you have it, matas yo's vod. You know the matas yo's vod. It's the only yom tov where you ask for nisim. If you forget to say al nisim, so you say at the end of davening, harachman yasalon nisim neflois. Please give us nisim. It's a yom tov that you ask for nisim. So look, Ibn Mendel, guess who says that? The guy that didn't forget to say al nisim isn't zeicha to that. The guy, the Nebuch, the guy who forgot al nisim, he is the guy that's zeicha to say, please give us nisim. Rabbi say, all the Nebuchs jump with joy. All the guys that are always forgetting everything, you're the man that has a right to ask for nisim, and you're going to get it. It's in the nusach. Ask for nisim. Go for it. Don't be nespolia. When nisim I had in my life, I'll tell you just this summer. In the summertime, I have discipline till here. The summertime, and he's always, here we go. And I said, once and for all, I says, no more of that stuff. I davened before I went into classroom. Stark, not regular. I had 4 weeks of bliss. No discipline problems like this. So daven stark. I advise Omalam, daven stark. You'll get anything you want. By the way, if you have any ruchniistic problems, it's a good thing, that Moshe Rabbeinu took the luchas and he smashed them. Listen to this story. Mashgiach of Mlikuod. The sister of Chashmonai. She was a chashva young lady. She was getting married. And the hegman takes the collar right off the chuppah. Shem Yerachim. And she's standing by the chuppah, and they all go around. Oy, Nebuch. Oy, Nebuch, that's the matzav. And she says, Oy, Nebuch. Oy, Nebuch. I don't like this Oy, Nebuch. Now, she did something that was inappropriate. Now, the brothers, Kanoim, these are Kaihanim, they took out their swords and wanted to kill her. Right under the chuppah. What do you think you're doing? Kaihanim, You know what Kaihanim do to a Kain who's Meshamish Batuma? Even though the halacha is, what is he, Chayv Malchus? Or Mizabei Shemayim? But he's not Chayv death on the spot. The Rambam brings down Kaihanim, who are they tough? They take their own brother, who was Meshamish Batuma. He did Avodas Beis HaMikdash while he was Tameh. They pull him out of the Beis HaMikdash, they take clubs, and they literally beat his brains out and kill him on the spot. The Rambam in Yad HaChazaka says, that's what you're supposed to be doing. That's what Kaihanim did. It's halacha sefer, you know that. You're not saying stories. In other words, that's Askum of the Rambam. Kaihanim, you mess around with them? So the sister did something inappropriate. She got it over the head, and she was vice dice. She was no pushover. And she turned around. In fact, she had this all. She knew her brothers. She knew how they function. She knew my brothers, the Kaihanim, the tough guys. I'm going to put them in their place. Watch this. What does she say? You ready to kill me? Remember Dina and Shimon and Levi and Dina? How they stuck up for their sister when someone shepherded their sister? Where are you? You're such Kanoim? Why did you be Kanoim and against that Russia Marusha who's about to come to the chuppah and do such crazy stuff? And they said, you got a point. And they said, okay, here goes. It's a great story. They said, okay, we're sending a shliach straight to the king. Say, Adoni HaMelech, we are the Kaihanim's, our daughter, our sister here is a Bas Chaim. And to boil the Hegman Tchila, everybody knows that the Hegman is supposed to, but we feel, being the daughter of the Jewish high priest, she should be for the king. For the king should be the one that should be the Russia Marusha, that should kidnap her off the chuppah. So we feel that you should be the one, and not a regular local nobleman, a Hegman. And the king liked that idea, so that's a very good idea. Bring her over. They said, we'll be happy to do that. And they took their sister along, and they came, I don't know if they took her along or not, I don't know what they did. But they entered the palace, they already had were coming into the palace. Yeah, oh yes, the king was getting along with them. And they went right over to the king and they chopped his head off right there. They killed him on the spot. That was the beginning of the revolution. And then, and all the servants around the king, they wiped them all out. I mean, they had l'malam and ateva. Reb Nosson says they were yeshiva guys. They couldn't fight to save their lives. I like to tell, I don't want to lose, in the 6-Day War, Rav Scheinberg, I was standing there in Matterstoff. Rav Scheinberg, it was outside, outdoors. 6-Day War was just about to start, and he says, stay here. Nothing's going to happen. And I have 8 o'clock here. Stay here, don't, because people were running here, getting on the plane. There was a famous Chassidish Rebbe. He went through the Nazi Holocaust. He got on the first plane. I had enough. I need this. Anyway. And there was nothing. And he said, Rav Scheinberg was sleeping through the war. It was all his bטחון. And so I gotta watch out what I gotta say now. I like the story, but you gotta watch out. It's Yedua that the Israeli planes weren't worth a penny. They're all outdated planes. They didn't work well. The Arabs had 400 planes between Egypt and Syria. They had 400 jet planes and ready to do it. I think they had Russian MiGs. No, they had Russian MiGs. Anyway, so guess who started the 6-Day War? The Russians. I heard this from an Israeli soldier. And I just read about it. The Russians did, and America didn't want to start up with Arab oil. So outwardly, Lyndon Johnson got up. Oh, how dare they do this to Israel? He was stuck up to Israel when no one was looking. Him and the English guys, both anti-Semites, said, look, we're going to be on the side of the Arabs. Any problems, we're going to side with them. We need Israel. So for them, they have no oil. So what did the Israelis? They used to put in their heads to do like they had the second rate. The French mirages of all people, the French are the biggest anti-Semitic. I saw this with my own eyes. The way the mirages finished off the entire Jordanian, all the bases over there. I was standing in a window, looking out a window in a high floor in Yerushalayim, and the day like in one of the 6 days of the war, the 4th day I think it was, I saw my own eyes where a fireball comes up. Jet plane is zoom. It doesn't go like we see planes, slow, like a snail going. And zoom, it looks like a ball of fire from the distance, and suddenly it zigzags, and boom, drops a bomb. See smoke going up, then it zigzags away. Next, boom, they were knocking one after. Okay, that was already Lachar HaMaaseh. First day of the war, I knew this. The war was over. You know what happened? For 2 years, the Israelis, they still look. There's nobody with us. There's one Rabbeinu Shalom. They know what they were doing. They had these 400 top-notch planes, these fighter bombers that Syria and Egypt together, they had it in one spot. And every day, Israelis took one of their junkie planes, and they flew very low, so they should not be seen. They did this accidentally on purpose. So they were detected for 2 years. Every day they came over, and they were on high alert, the Arabs, and they disappeared. This time, 2 years straight. And finally, when they decided it's time to strike, now at that point, they're already like, the false alarms are coming out of your ears by the Arabs. They came down, they knocked out every one of those 400 planes. They either destroyed it completely, or they made it where you can't use it anymore. It's done. The war was over in 1 day, not 6-day war. I was there. It was probably my schus, because I was a yeshiva bacha learning there. That's what I say the real pshat is why we won. Anyway, but you hear such a maisa. They pulled it off because they didn't, these Arabs, the Israelis planes, it means nothing. For the last 2 years, they come and they go, it's nothing. And the Israelis knew that, and they knocked them all out. 400 planes on the spot. The entire Air Force was dead on day one. Night ice. How did I get into this? Anyway. But it was just, you got to watch out with Keshe B'Yatzim the Eibishter's Chasodim. Anyway, so you know, whatever you think of this Yom Tov, that's what you're going to get out of it. And the Mashgiach recommended, there was a woman in Pearl Harbor. I once read about this years ago. There was a woman in Pearl Harbor when the Japanese made a sneak attack on Pearl Harbor. That's in Hawaii. That started the Second World War. Japan had the kamikaze units, their suicide missions, and they flew low over there. They started bombing all the ships, all the American ships. There was this lady. She was either an invalid or she wasn't worth a penny. She was a depressive, quiet lady who never really got out to the world. And then when Pearl Harbor was attacked, a lot of people were killed, people were screaming in the streets. It was a Shrek. And they needed manpower, and she had no choice. She had to get up and do things. And she did, because they needed her services. There's somebody over there, there's a patient over there, somebody's dying over there, this lady's screaming, you gotta calm her down. Oh, there's a little kid over here running in the street, he needs medical attention. A million different things are happening. When Pearl Harbor was bombed, the sneak attack from the Japs, it was a bedlam. It was a chaos all over Pearl Harbor. And this lady, they needed her. The lady said, that saved my life. I suddenly became alive. And I was doing things. No more quiet lady. La Habel, Recha Sternberg. You heard of her? Who heard of her? Yeah. Recha Sternberg. During World War II. That's Hadekis Gemura. She went into the Nazi. Someone was the Gestapo kidnapped. They captured some Yidden. She walked into their headquarters and she said, I want those people there. A skinny, a little short lady. A Yiddish woman, and who are you? And she says, and she started, and they had a big dog over there. She fouled on the big dog. These dogs are dangerous. They weren't stam dogs. He says, no, I want that man. Yes. And she got away. You know, if you're tough, stamazay, with a 9-year-old kid in Copenhagen, a 9-year-old Yiddish kid, they had to go to Goyish schools. And the Galach, the instructor was a Galach. And the Galach got up one day, he said something derogatory against Jews. A 9-year-old kid, a Jewish boy, got out of his seat, walked over to the podium, you know. He was higher than everyone else. He walked in front of the whole class. He went over to the instructor. A 9-year-old kid, he smacked him across the face, and he said, don't you dare talk like that about Jews again. There it is, a 9-year-old schnook. And the next day, the Galach, who was the teacher, apologized, and they became best friends. Now, if you're stark, that's not Maha'ara. You be stark. Everyone will respect you. Even the Nazis. Recha Sternberg came, she said, you know, what's his name? Remchoba Weissmann. He was in touch with the biggest Kanakis over there. The Gestapo, the worst of the showing him, or who are the people he dealt with? You remember the story? He dealt with the highest people in Nazi Germany. And he let them have it. What do you think you're doing, innocent people? And he was stark. When someone's stark, people melt. There's a certain, when you're stark about yourself, everyone suddenly, I do a lot of that stuff. People think I'm so self-confident. I blow myself up, and I go like this. He says, looks like he knows what he's doing. But they think, you know. So the Mashgiach of Nos and Tainid, why did the sister have to do such a inappropriate thing to wake people up? You gotta wake. People are sleeping. They need competitive sports. You know that. They need competitive. You know why Arabs blow themselves up? And you know what the Bedouins do? The Bedouins, I heard about this years ago. The Bedouin Arabs get together every now and then when they're in a good mood and things are good and boring, and they decide, look, this is ridiculous. Like, this is no life. Let's do something interesting. Let's get the two heads of families, big tribes they have, these Bedouin tribes. They get together and they says, okay, I think it's time to get things, let's have some action. And, they get together and they take out their swords and they first they kiss and hug each other. We're going to have to go to war because that's the matzah. Because you have to go to war. How can you go like this? And they kill each other. For weeks, they go to war. And after they have a nice full house, a full oilam of almonas crying, and kids in hospitals, and amputees, and people screaming and crying all over the place, they decide, I think at this point, we've accomplished what we need to do around here. There's plenty of excitement, plenty of, people are alive now, they're getting old. It's time to become friends. They make a big party, and the two families get together, they kiss and hug each other, because they're really friends. It's just that's life, You have to, and then, Batishkei Ta'aretz, not 40 shana, a year or two. I don't know if they can last longer than that. After a year or two, it's okay. It's enough sitting around doing nothing. Let's start another one. That's their lifestyle. It's better, that's what they say. Anyway, people need action. That's why there's competitive sports. I asked the kids in my class, what would you rather do? Would you rather sit, schmooze around with a friend during recess, or play a little ball like a catch, or you want to have a competitive game? Everybody wants a competitive game. But what happens if you lose? I don't care. The whole class. We want a competitive game. We want to play a game and a game. But what happens if the other team is screaming at you and you're the worst kid? We don't care. A human being needs to be alive. And that's why I recommend, I know a shliach who told me the first day of Hanukkah, he had 8 functions for seniors, for juniors, for men, for ladies. 8 functions in one day. And the first day of Hanukkah. Second day, another 8 functions. I believe in that stuff. Go out. Make tzedakah money. Do something. Mach lebedik. A person needs it for his health. Now, they asked the mashgiach. Mashgiach screams about this a lot. Reb Nosson. They asked him, a guy like this could become a meshugana. You become a meshugah if you always have to be. You know what he said? You become a meshugana if you don't do it. You know how true that is? I was once slept out of bed on Purim. I had some kind of Epstein Barr. I couldn't move for weeks. And suddenly, Rabbi Youngson comes over to me. He says, here's a $5,000 check. See? You got 2 hours left to Purim. You make $5,000 for a certain money I was busy with. You make $5,000, I give you this check to match it. You're giving him $10,000. Or else, watch me rip it. Oh, no, don't. I was out of bed and I was cured. It's very important. By the way, I'm going to tell you a Maisa. I'm talking about this thing. I'm talking about Hanukkah is a time to sit down. I said something a little bit nasty, but you don't have to take me serious. Everybody does what he feels is good for him. Tzedakah is noyis. Living and learning, nothing better in the universe. Just learn, don't listen to men. Tzedakah is eating latkes is a big Indian with pickles, else. But I would tell you that the real avodas hazman. You sit down for 1 hour and write all the milas. And I'm going to tell you something. I don't want to put down anybody. But the guys, okay, you look down at people with latkes because that's your whole Hanukkah, latkes. My Hanukkah is a bat gemara. I'm sorry. I don't blame you if you feel like a little better, a better mensch. And Hawaii, everyone would do that. I made a Kabbalah this Hanukkah. My Kabbalah is not to learn less than usual. That's a big accomplishment. Not to learn less than usual. That's what I plan to do this Hanukkah. That's a big accomplishment. It's not push it. The HR is going to be on your case. But I am not so humble opinion. Avodas hazman the mashgiach of thank day and night. You're going to change that stupid mode. People are busy day and night. We all do it. We don't even realize subconsciously how we're always catching, if only this, if only that, and this. Write down 100 of your milas, some true, some exaggerated, and some lies, but only positive. And then take apart the negative stuff and make a joke out of it. That's really nothing. And believe whatever you did. That's Hanukkah. The more you do it, I have somebody, one of my chassidim. He comes from a very, very, very negative family. The Zayda, I asked him, how did this happen? The brother's suicidal. The mother just had a nervous breakdown. The whole family, I said, what happened here? He says, you had an Alta Zayda? He was a big Ma'amad Bashem, but he didn't believe in himself too much. I said, oh, there you go. That's why Mendel said, believe in yourself. You don't believe in yourself. Look at it. Look at what's going on. Everybody's a basket case. So I got him on my stuff. The guy spends an hour a day. He's a chashuv, a younger man. He's big in learning, big in everything. He's a productive person. But inside, he's plotting. He ain't healthy because I'm no good, you're no good, and he's insecure. An hour a day, he did it for 1 week. He said he became a new person. You know, powerfully to some people, may have to do it. I put kaikas in this. Because you'll see what happens. But you need a derech a little bit how to do it. Whatever. Anyway, now I want to tell you this about it's half full of a fellow. We'll end up with this. We're talking about sports competition. My friend Reb Chaim Halpern. By the way, see these? Reb Simcha, the sweetest person. By the way, Reb Simcha, guess what I was doing when I was thanking? You're on the long list of thank yous. You're also there. I thank Hashem for giving me Reb Simcha. So don't think I didn't thank you. Don't think I got you. I'm very thankful. Anyway, Reb Simcha just made these. You want to give them out, or you want to take one? It's gewaldig. Listen to this. We'll put them in shuls, whatever. It's meridic. It's my latest stuff. By the way, I see the way they wrote one of my pieces. I says, oh no, you messed up the whole piece. You didn't write it good. So I told myself, what are you looking at it for? Don't get into it. You kill it. You know, you have to be broad-minded. Anybody, you don't get involved in details. And anyway, it's not stop. The more, when I first started giving out my bטחון weeklies, I used to go to the mikveh. Nobody wants it. No. Does anybody want it? Oh, hey, he finally took one. Does he want? Oh, did I get too many? I was all nervous. Finally, one day, I'm standing and schmoozing with somebody. I forgot all about them. I was just holding them. And one after another, people take them off my hands. You hear that story? Don't forget it. When you're busy worrying, no one wants it. Off and on. When you're distracted and you're not... Should I make the yeki? You know, how did they take? Did I make too many? Did I make too little? Did I write this good? This wasn't right? Mida sheba mishkol. You get involved. You got problems. You're bundling nerves, and things aren't happening. But as soon as I'm schmoozing about something else completely, suddenly I have a whole bunch of guys coming one after another. Can I have another one of those? Can I have? They're coming at me from all fronts. Anybody want to give these out? In a shul? Thank you so much. Anyway, listen to the story. It's a half a bigger story. This is my friend Chaim Safran. He used to be in my chabura. We had a group that went to Novandic in France. And he was one, he became a real Novandic. Nowadays, Musa, Givaldi. He was Givaldi. He used to learn Musa Barabim. And nobody said it again. So it was Musa Haskell. But I wasn't so comfortable learning Musa Barabim, Mazayin, Shimshin, even in the side door. And he became wrong. And nobody even said anything about it. Because he wasn't really concerned what people say. He was like a happy, content type of person, not one of those. And the Mela, nobody looked at him different. You know, I know 2 people took the same operation. From the doctor, same exact doctor. One of them, before he went in, he was like this. The other guy, the guy like this, he came out like nothing. The guy like this, he came out, you know, but anyway, you'd be mispal. Hanukkah is a good time for tefillah. But anyway, here comes the Maisa. Chaim Safran told it to me. We used to have a chabura until he got a job in Calgary Canada, and he's there. He has a whole malchus over there. He's a Makar people. And Rabbi just said he should go because by us, the Novandigas, we believe in going out. Even though for us it was a hefset, that's the rules in Novandik. So he told me a mice. He's about Tshuva. And he said he was a kid. Now, either baseball or football. Baseball, I think it was baseball. And there was a certain team where he lived. Remembers like today. That team was very, very not too great. They weren't from the real top notch. They were shvach. Weren't the best. They didn't know how to hit up. They didn't have the best catchers. They didn't have the best pitchers. They didn't have these home run type of guys. Shvach. But they had a coach who was a Semmerman. And this is nothing with Bטחון going. He wasn't from when he just remembers it like today. The coach was one of those, come inside, Rabbi Say, come inside, come. So the coach told the Yolam, the coach started like, first he put signs all over town. We won. We are the winning team. And he pumped his chevra, we are all winners. Did you hear that? And he started on the radio, he used to announce, he used to lift, and he was going to play a team that was way ahead of him. They were top-notch players. And they were like shvach. And he saw this with his own eyes for weeks. The guy was going, we won. On the radio and the newspapers, and he had all over the place stickers. We are the winning team. Shem Lamaisa. The game started. And this is to make it more dramatic. I don't know if it's exactly what happened, but let's make it like this to make it more geschmack. And the Taka started losing. And this guy couldn't care less. We won. I mean, he wasn't a spoil. So we lost it. So they're winning. We're going to win. We won. Just forget it. The bottom of the ninth, base are loaded. I don't want to corrupt the younger generation. But one of his ever hit a grand slam and they won. I mean, there's such a meister what Bטחון can do. This is a Metzias. Bטחון is a Metzias. The way, even by Graham, Bטחon is a Metzias. Winston Churchill. It wasn't a tzaddik. Winston Churchill, World War II, he said, we are never, when they got involved in the war, you know what he said? Now they were losing. France just got, Rabbi Miller said, when the Nazis moved into France, it was like a truck over butter. In a month, France was dead. In Poland, in 2 weeks, no? It was a joke. They mowed down everybody. They were extremely aggressive, the Nazis, and they would spend years of getting the best stuff and the best trained soldiers, and their spy system was half of a fella. All the Poles, half the Poles, the storekeepers were German spies. You know that? The Jews woke up one morning, and this friendly grocery man who knew him for years and years, nice to Jews. You're under arrest. I've been working for the Gestapo the last 10 years. I've had a secret radio with them, and we're connected. And they promised me as soon as they come in, I'm one of them, and they're going to treat me good. And I'm going to report all my Jewish customers. This happened all over the place. It was ridiculous. The Nazis were like, you couldn't win them. So until, what happened? Churchill gets involved. By the way, Churchill, comes from American Indians. So don't think the British know how to do anything. I'm joking. It's us. I'm joking. But anyway, so Churchill, he got up. He was a Chevroman. First of all, the guy in power was Yadua Mefursim, if they're going to give from all the politicians from the beginning, from Adam Arishan till today, Mastama, the biggest nutcase, he for sure deserves the medal. He made himself, when the Chamberlain, his name was, they had to get rid of him, but he was, they just threw him out. Hitler's a nice guy. And he kept saying, oh, he's a peaceful person. He just talks like that. And Hitler was turning over the world. And he was cruel. He was a Russia, Marusha, the whole world saw. You know, in Eretz Yisrael, when the Yin heard that Hitler was coming in, they wanted to commit suicide, one after another. The reports they heard, to get caught by a Nazi, what he could do to you. These people were the worst Azorim in the universe, the Amalekim, Sheklach. Anyway, so, you want to put me off? Let's go ahead, you can turn me off. I'm going to keep going. Yelam can leave. I'm going to get my this. I'll take one of this Kiss over here, Kiss Caramel. I have to have a drink. The Yelam's getting smaller. I want to double.